of Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. So there are days that stand out to you. There are mornings that stand out to you. This was one because we had a storm over the last couple days kind of go through us. And what's left is the Canadian winds whooshing through the clean autumnal feel. Ha, ha, ha. It's on. You start to feel it. Waking up this morning, 60 degrees across the great city of Philadelphia. 60 degrees. And you know what that portends to? Red October. And, of course, football. Man, this was the morning in which it got you started, right? It's Phillies Braves tonight. So when the chill starts to hit the air, you know the baseball matters. This is the Anthony Gargano Show. We're presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the credit union difference at TrueMark.com/PHLY. This is what it feels like on those mornings. Get ready for football. You know, Sunday mornings when you get out and you go, oh, man, go get some coffee or go get run the errands, go to the morning bakery. Right, for all the stuff that you're going to have during the course of the day. This is why we love football, man. This is why this whole thing is all a part of our happy place, which is about to commence. And this is what it feels like. All right, so we have a huge, huge series. Braves banged up. So, you know, it's been an awful year for them. They've already lost Acuna and they lost Spencer Strider, right? They're two best players, best pitcher, best position player. Now, no Austin Riley for a minute. So he's out as we get tonight's 3-game series starts tonight. Wheeler against Reynaldo Lopez tonight. And look, the Phillies are sitting 7 games up on them. It's the perfect time. You got 7 games in the next 2 weeks with Atlanta, sandwiched between tough ones. Kansas City on the road, Astros at home, right? You got 2 tough teams from the American League in between the 2 Braves series. So these Braves games are big. Big for the stretch, for this team. It's going to be an interesting kind of see where they're at. And look, I love what Topper did with setting his rotation, moving guys up. So you're able to go Wheeler-Nola through the first 2 games of the series. Wheeler-Nola, Sanchez, you set your rotation, and those games matter. Look, these are big deal. This is where it kind of starts to get for real, for real. You're right. You know, August 20th, you could smell September, and that's when it all matters. You're in a tight race with the Dodgers and Brewers for the best record in the NL and also to avoid the wild card. So this is when it gets real. I'm excited because we don't usually have a game that matters until right around now. Usually it happens in September, Eagles, and then all the Phillies games and stuff, you know, pennant races. You finally got – this is a game that actually matters. The next 3 nights are must-see TV. This is when sports starts to take the forefront in our lives. Good morning, my boys. John Zapata, JP,
Buenos dias.
VG, Violations, Greg Caputo.
What up, Coach? What up, Coach? Yeah, I'm ready. I knew it. As soon as I woke up, I took the dogs out. I was like, Anthony's going to be fired up with this breeze. He's going to be all footballed
Dude,
up.
60 degrees.
It did feel like fall.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Other than my allergies, it was, if I could breathe, it was beautiful. Tomorrow will be better because today all the other stuff's in the air. But it was, I was like, oh my God, I went outside and there was that chill, that little chill, and I felt it.
And you thought,
I felt like
football.
This football. I did.
Football.
Footy.
I love you, football. Oh, I love you. I can't quit you.
Come back to my life.
And, you know, Red October.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So, of course, I put the Temple polo shirt on and
baby.
my golf shirt and my man right away. What's up, coach?
You get all
Coach
kinds
Gargano.
all kinds of love in the chat room for the shirt. Yeah, man.
By the way, welcome to Roku.
Yeah, welcome,
we
Roku.
are on Roku today. So everybody watching on Roku, welcome to the Anthony Gargano Show. We love to have you, and we're thrilled to be a part of the Roku family. So, all right. This is a big deal, man.
People are fired up today. Twitter's alive. The chat room's alive.
Like this is when sports really matters. Like this is a game. This series matters. I love. Listen, we talked about not having Harper or JT available yesterday for pinch hitting on Monday or Sunday. The fact is, I like what Topper did in moving up the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez. Like, let's go. You're supposed to. I heard people say, well, that shows desperation. I'm like, no, you adjust your rotation for a series
Who
like
said
this.
that?
Believe it or not, I heard it on a sports talk radio.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, people are saying that.
Topper's got his mind focused on October.
Yeah.
He knows how important these series are. That's why he's got his boys well rested, be ready to go tonight. Where do you see the spark coming out of Bryce today? A little pop in his step.
And no one should be cheering over the news from yesterday for the Braves. Austin Riley's a big loss for them, obviously. But I think of like the past couple of years with the Braves and the Phillies, especially like August, September. The Braves have always killed us. And obviously right now the Braves are at a low point. It's a good time right now to start putting that nail in the coffin and take this division for good and start focusing on the National
you
League.
do. In fact, Tom Verducci will join us coming
Can't
up
wait.
today to kind of analyze this series and kind of where we're at because it's got a big feel to it.
Yeah.
It really does. It is a shame. I look at what Atlanta's been through, and to lose Strider and Acuna and to still be relevant is actually a feat for them.
They only have 4 starters left from opening day that are still playing today, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, their rotation got riddled. I mean, they've actually gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
So now's the time. You can't give him any life.
No.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you got to go in, you got to take 2 or 3. You got your 3 best pitchers going. You got to take 2 or 3. And this is where now you start to stack up good vibes. Like, the Phillies are a playoff team. Hopefully they're a 1 or a 2 seed and avoid the wild card. But this is where you stack up like good quality like games, like innings, at bats. Individuals need to. I hate to sound like a coach, but this is what you do. You stack up good at bats. Like, I want you to stack up good at bats. I don't care what happens. Did you hit the ball well? Was your approach right? You get it on the screws, right? That's what I want from you.
Get it on the screws.
And as we know, the rest of August is going to be tough. So it's a good way to start get on the ball rolling with this series here against Atlanta.
It's a big deal. And there's something special about, when it starts to get real.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. We're joking about the weather, but it's actually like a big deal. My buddy Toots says, I bleeping hate you. He's down the shore. It's freezing down there.
See, I feel like it's a perfect beach day. Like, I love putting on some skinny jeans, like a little hoodie, get your hat on, go down with your like chai tea. You get that good morning breeze on the beach.
Skeeves, he went skinny jeans.
You're gonna ask
Violation.
He's wearing Chuck Taylor high tops that look like they're from Hoosiers.
You're
They
talking
look like they're from Hoosiers.
You're talking at the
How
beach.
dirty they are.
It's
dangerous in here, guys.
Yeah, man, and a good hoodie, and you get that chill.
Cool sweats. Like, you go to the beach, you go with sweats.
I don't leave the house in sweats. Come on, I'm an adult, man. I have a job.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah,
sweats?
man, you gotta look good when you go to the beach.
Yeah, that's why you get a nice sweatsuit.
Get some joggers.
You wearing?
What are you, nuts?
Matching
Skinny
jacket.
jeans down
I
the
going to the
shore.
beach in a sweatsuit.
Well, whatever. If you're wearing sweats, you're not going to go
Like
skinny
on some
jeans.
Rockaware gear.
What are you going to do, skinny jeans?
Yeah,
I wear my fila. I'll wear my fila to the beach.
All right, you do you. I'll do
You
me.
can't do the skinny jeans. Seriously, shorts and a hoodie.
It's too chilly for shorts for me today.
60 degrees?
I wish I wore a hoodie
dude.
today, to be honest.
On the beach with the wind? I need my skinny. Chooch probably wearing skinny jeans.
Tooch isn't wearing skinny jeans. There's no way to wear skinny jeans on the beach. Don't go.
We got to meet
You
Tooch.
see surfer dudes wearing skinny jeans on the beach?
Nah, come on.
No, you're true beach guy.
Dude, I'm not a true beach guy.
Well, you can wear shoes.
Obviously, I'm a city boy.
You're a shoe.
I'm worse than a
You
shoe.
can't be wearing skinny jeans.
Violation, man.
It is a violation.
Can't be wearing
It's a
jeans on the
violation on the violation. Violation's great.
This guy, dude, throw them Chuck Taylors in the washer.
I
He
love
does
him.
have the dirty
And then
sneakers.
he's got the bright white shoelaces
I know.
with him.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah,
change
and
him out.
it makes it worse. Skeeves,
I'm putting
our
a picture
producer,
of that later on.
he's wearing the dirty sneakers.
Oh, man, he's
The
going to bust on
problem,
my
see, the problem,
fashion.
if you want to go with sneakers, they can't be dirty sneakers. Dirty sneakers on your feet is a bad look.
The Chucks, though, you can go dirty with
Nah,
Chucks.
especially the top part at this
you
point.
can't go dirty
you get
with
that Mr. Clean Magic Eraser thing.
And you got the bright white shoelaces
You know, Fraser,
that just accentuate the grind.
And this guy's going to bust on my skinny jeans. Get the hell out
it's
of here.
giving, you know, like the wonderful women of our area love to wear the dirty Air Forces. It's what it's giving right now.
And listen, let me clarify, because people are saying restrictive clothes aren't good. No skinny jeans. They all have stretch fabric in them now. It's almost like a sweatpant. It's like a legging almost.
No,
You sound like
not
my
a legging.
father-in-law.
It's
almost
a
like-
jean.
it's almost like a
It's a
legging.
denim. Get the hell
They're
out of here.
stretched
First of
close.
all, you're right. The chat's right. You don't wear skinny jeans on the beach.
All right, are we in or out of skinny
Even
jeans,
talking
guys?
about it is ridiculous.
Hey, man, some people like to be fashionable
Like the way you
at the
said,
beach.
I want to put my skinny jeans on. Like, what? Get the hell out of here. Oh, my God. Get it back to the Phillies. My Lord.
Let's talk about it. Did you see Sir Anthony last night?
Oh,
Sir Anthony
wow.
came in a tie game in the bottom of the ninth and threw up a meatball. He got one
I
out
saw it.
and
Yeah.
blew the game. Yes, Provolone John in the chat. I am wearing jeggings on the beach. I'm all about the jeggings.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's a beach. You're on the beach.
But it's chilly.
I still do shorts, but I'll wear a hoodie. I'm with the hoodie.
Right. The shorts and the hoodie's appropriate. If you're on the beach, like you're Tooch, you're then brigantine, you got to
it's
wear
windy in
shorts.
Brigantine.
Wait, so like if you're actually going to walk like on the beach on the sand, are you wearing sneakers? Or are you wearing sandals?
Whoa. I don't own sandals. I either wear like Vans with no socks, or I just pull my shoes off and walk with my
You
bare
mean like
feet.
slides, not slidesman?
I'm not. I don't like
You
sandals.
don't do
or
slides?
I do the slides on the
Nah.
beach.
You hate, no, you hate. This is where the thing is. He's a music guy. So VG's a music guy. He doesn't like the sports guy. Like right away, even though he loves sports, like he's already busted on me for wearing the coach wear. So right away, the minute I walk in, what's up, coach? You want me to run? Meanwhile,
Use
he
up downs.
you don't like the athletic
What
sports
do
sportswear.
sandals or sliders have to
Slides.
do? They're not
They're not
sportswear.
sliders.
What kind of sport do you play in slides?
I
No,
can't.
dude.
They're shower shoes.
Dude, you wear slides all the time. You're a sports guy. You wear slides because you carry your cleats.
Yeah, I do slides over the thong sandal.
You don't wear. Why don't you wear sneakers
Jamie
with your
sandal.
cleats?
No, you
I
wear
wear
slides.
golf shoes. I don't wear slides at the golf
No,
course.
slides,
I wear sneakers at the golf
slides,
course.
and then your cleats.
Uh,
Dude, you do. He slides it in your basketball sneakers too. Slides
go.
is a big piece. It's a big piece of the athletic.
all right. Well, what's that got to do with the beach?
Well, I mean,
because
you're
I don't-
anti-slide. You're anti.
I can't wear sneakers.
You're
wear
anti-coach.
I wear slides.
You're
in a
anti-slide.
locker room shower. I'll wear slides. I don't want no funguses or anything. I'll wear slides if I'm in the group locker room setting.
My God.
At the gym, I wear slides in the shower. I'm not wearing them out in public.
My God, coming up, we got Bo Wulf in the 5 minutes for our training camp update. So we'll get that. Michael Penix, did you see Falcons shut down for preseason? Is that nuts?
Yes.
Like, it is amazing how the preseason, and it's going to be interesting because I brought this up to you guys to start this morning when I walked in. Eagles, Packers. The Packers have played in the preseason. Like, they've played their starters in the preseason. The Eagles have not. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of, takeaway from that, especially like early in the game.
I had a discussion with a buddy at the bar the other day, asking if I was
See, now,
worried.
he didn't say pub. He said
we
bar.
noticed it. We noticed it.
Right?
Yeah.
So we get it. Because in Philadelphia, it's a bar.
Yeah, you
in
got the heat
London
yesterday.
or Dublin, it's a pub. But we're in Philadelphia.
Anyway,
That means it's a bar.
At a place that served adult beverages, we were discussing. Someone asked me if I was worried about the starters not playing, and I guess historically under Nick they start out well.
They
So I
start
can't
out well
complain.
and they never play.
Right, so I
Yeah.
can't complain. He's got I think they'll be
I mean,
fine.
they were 10-1. You know what the funny thing about it is that they were 10-1 last year.
Yeah.
So what happened in training camp doesn't really matter because it wasn't like they fell off at 10-1 and slid into the ocean because they had a weak training camp and didn't do anything in training camp. By that point, it's over.
And you can't blame they were tired because you worked them so hard in training camp.
Right.
Because
So
they didn't.
at 10-1, to slide into the ocean, training camp's irrelevant. Now, do I think they needed to make it harder and do more work and practice longer? I do. I did. All right. And they have done that. As far as not playing the preseason, I don't think it matters as long as you're getting that work done in those practices. Those joint practices, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So at some point, these games will probably go down to 2 next year because they're going to add another game. So they'll go down to 2. There'll be more joint practices. And wait till the NFL Network starts to televise the joint practices.
Yeah.
And then they can get rid of the preseason altogether.
So if they add another regular season game, just curious, do you think that the NFL start treating week 1 like college football treats week 0 a little bit? Like not putting too much stock into week 1?
No.
All right.
No, it doesn't matter.
Week 1 of the regular season?
It
Yeah,
matters.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
anytime. When you kick off in this league, it matters. Now, it'll be interesting. Do they get rid of the preseason games altogether? Because they do generate some revenue.
They do.
And they never leave money on the table.
It's an interesting battle because Goodell has been out in public saying he hates the preseason
Yeah.
games and would like to do away with them. So it's him battling the owners at this point.
Well, they're trying to figure out a way to make up for the revenue. So to
Right.
me, it's the joint practices. So instead of doing a preseason game, do the joint practices. And then, like, what you could do is you could have a whole day where fans you have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
Like instead of the
free practice.
right. You
Yeah.
can still do the free practices.
Yeah.
But if you have another team there, you could do it like that. You could also televise them. You could do the stuff that they don't want out there. You have done on a closed field, right? But most of the time for those joint practices, it's open to the media. So you can just televise it.
I wonder if they would do that because don't you think it would? Because it would make it challenging for some of the teams that are implementing new coaches and new players and a bunch of rookies as well.
Well, the joint practice is where you get stuff done.
Well, don't they like to also use those preseasons for those in-game type of situations as well?
It's more for what they're looking at going up against somebody that's not your own team.
It's gonna be interesting.
You know,
how
the
those
other
develop
stuff.
out.
The other stuff is it's a fire drill. Like you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
That's where that comes from.
I don't care to watch preseason, so I
think
get it.
the first game it's treacherous.
It is treacherous.
It's a tough
in Brazil.
matchup. Yes.
It's in Brazil. It's a tough matchup. Green Bay's really good. It's I'm a little worried about it.
Probably stuck in
I
a
think
hotel.
Green Bay's good, and you're in this who knows environment.
Yeah.
Like, what's that Brazil going to be like? The field, the crowd, the atmosphere.
And it feels like, the Packers have a good passing game. We feel like we're a week and a half, 2 weeks out, and the secondary's still in flux. They don't know who the slot guy is yet.
I like everything I see.
Right.
I'm excited about everything I see. Again, it's one thing when you're looking at practice, another thing when you go up against, and it matters, and you're going up against, they have an array of receivers.
Yeah.
They have a great group of receivers. And
the running game's improved.
Oh, it's really good. You got Jacobs.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's going to be interesting. We'll get more into that. We'll talk to Bo coming up. Our daily Eagles training camp report. But first, JP VG, tell us about a little Shady Rays. So when you're on the beach,
I love Shady Rays
with your
my
skinny jeans, yes,
there's nothing better than a pair of Shady Rays because I love sunglasses. And I like the morning at the beach. And you get that little glare, the sun glistening. It's tough to see. So
the water. You're talking about the glistening of the water.
Yeah.
The
When I say
ocean.
the beach?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love
yeah,
that.
the ocean. So get out some Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames, crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures and even beach attendants in skinny jeans. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. And they have styles and colors and all your favorite team's colors.
Toots just said, Shorts, long sleeve tee, Shady Rays. VG just buried himself.
Perfect. I like everything except the shorts. Hey, this is cool about Shady Rays because if your shades ever go missing, they take an unexpected hit. You don't have to sweat it. They have one of the most insane protections in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, you exchange them for a new pair or worry-free return within 30 days, which is insane. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with fast and personal support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code PHLY for 35% off polarized glasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 satisfied people.
Love it, BG. All right, guys, let's talk real quick now about our friends over at TrueMark Financial. All right, because listen, right now, especially for all my parents, I want you guys to listen up. Starting early at a young age with financial responsibility is a key part in their future. I'm telling you guys, it'll pay off in the long run. And TrueMark Financial is making it even easier for you guys because they have new money management tools that make it easy to start with their financial literacy at a young age. And you can also manage your finances as well through their banking mobile apps, which is freaking awesome, guys. Managing family finances includes budgeting for kids' sports leagues. Create a separate budget category for sports expenses to track costs effectively, ladies and gentlemen. Involve kids in those budget discussions, like I said, at a young age. It's extremely important, and TrueMark Financial will help you with that, guys. If you guys are going to away trips like myself, guys, looking at that Eagles-Baltimore game, guys, we're all going to be heading down there to Baltimore. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's still really easy to track all your finances with that mobile banking app through TrueMark Financial. Mobile banking apps offer convenience in managing finances on the go. And the best part on that app, we've all been there where we had that scare where we lose our credit card or debit card, whatever it may be. With TrueMark Financial, you can lock the card if you go through that scare, and that's extremely important. Guys, today, get your credit union career started here today. We all saw the Cuz got his career started last week, and you guys can do it here today. TrueMark Financial is a federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. And if you'd like some more information, there are 24 branches in the Philadelphia area, or you can go to truemark.com/PHLY. Again, it's truemark.com/PHLY. And thank you to our friends over at TrueMark.
All right. You got it, my man. We appreciate it. Coming up in just a moment from our all PHLY Eagles show, Bo Wulf will join us. Very excited. This is it. Like, this is where it all starts. You got a game Saturday. It's their last preseason. And then the roster cut down.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, VG brought up the secondary being a little bit in flux. Like, who's playing where? Who's that second safety? Where does Cooper DeJean fit in? Right? Is he a slot corner, which I think he is? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you look at it and you go, man, I like the talent that's assembled. Now, it probably will take them a little time to get going.
Yeah.
Like, when you have youth and you got a new DC, I wouldn't freak out if the Packers put up 30 in week 1. So just keep that in mind. I want to throw that by Bo.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of question marks right now.
Yeah.
We're relying on a lot of young people.
All right, let's go to our man on the scene. Look at him. He's got the Shady Rays on.
Shady Rays, baby. You think I'm not a company man? I'm wearing my Shady Rays.
That's right.
Nice.
He is Bo Wulf, all PHLY Eagles. Bo, we're just talking about it. And I remember talking to Steve Spagnuolo about this when he was with the Giants. He had a young, talented defense. First 2 weeks, he gave up, 70 points to the Cowboys and I think to the Eagles. And, the team was starting to get a little down on themselves. And by the end of the year, they wound up beating Brady in that game. And a lot of it has to do with the youth getting acclimated. You got a new DC. I wouldn't freak out if, the Packers put up 30 in week 1.
I think that's very responsible. Zach likes to say that every week in the NFL is a season because, you have so much time to talk about it and every game feels so big. But I do think that we need to have a little bit of patience with the defense, especially because not only are they super young in the secondary and up front, but it's also a new coordinator. Like there are moving parts. Also, that Packers offense could be really, really good. Like I think we do need to be a little bit realistic about seeing how they play. And defense, as you know, because is not just about the individual talent. It's about everybody moving in concert with each other, right? And knowing and trusting that everybody's going to be moving in the same direction and thinking the same way. And so that does take time. And, you know, they have worked a lot on stuff this summer, but they have also been rotating a lot. And so whoever the starting 11 ends up being, like those guys have not had that many reps on the field together, especially if, say, Cooper DeJean becomes a big part of that defense, or Quinion Mitchell is playing on the outside as opposed to on the inside. So I do think that's right. We need to be a little bit patient.
Yeah, and new DC, the whole thing. This is kind of how it is. If you were to guess now, who's your starting 11? Let's make
on defense. Yeah,
the Fangio. Let's go. Bo Fangio.
Bo Fangio.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Bo Fangio. So Bo Fangio, who is your 11 right now today?
So let's talk nickel, because that's what they'll play predominantly.
You're always
I'm gonna Jalen Carter, and I think if it's third down, it's Milton Williams inside. If it's first and second down, it's Jordan Davis inside.
Yeah.
You've got Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat on the outside. You definitely have Devin White as one of the two linebackers. And I think week one, I think it's probably Zach Vaughn, but I do think that Nakobe Dean is coming.
I'm going to ask you because there's a lot of Nakobe love after last week.
Yeah, Nakobe had a great game in the preseason game, no doubt about that. But Vic hasn't loved him up too much. And I think he's a responsible truth teller. I think that Nakobe has played well. I won't be shocked if he's the guy week one, but I think for whatever reason Fangio does like Zach Vaughn. I think you'll have C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship at safety, and then on the outside, I am starting to believe that Quinion Mitchell is going to be the starter on the outside opposite Darius Slay week one. I think he has had a really good summer, answered all the questions that they would have had about him, and even though Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo have both been very good, I think Quinion Mitchell has more upside. And so I think in base defense, he will be on the outside with Darius Slay week one. And then in nickel, I think he will slide inside week one until Cooper DeJean is fully ready. And then you'll have, I guess, Keely Ringo on the outside, but it might be Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah. I think probably Ringo before Rodgers.
I think so too.
Let me ask you about Blankenship, because he's one that I've never been in love with.
I've fallen for. He was one of the first guys.
I know.
Who I really felt for
when
he was an undrafted rookie, and so he's obviously performed what he came in as. Right, like there's no doubt about that. I think that he, last year he was miscast as, he was the best safety that they had.
Yes.
Right, he's the one who's being asked to do more. I think if he has the chance to play next to C.J. Gardner-Johnson and with corners who can be trusted, then I think Reed Blankenship is a great, fifth piece of your secondary. It's about the expectations, right? I think he is he's a very reliable tackler. He knows where he's supposed to be. He's very responsible. Is he the guy who you want playing single high, middle of the field, ranging from sideline to sideline? No. But if the role is to be in the box and clean stuff up, I think he can do that very well.
All right, let me give you one of the guys we haven't spoken a lot about this offseason. This is Josh Sweat this preseason. And so much, especially with Huff opposite him, so much is relying on Josh Sweat.
I agree with that. And, Zach and I go back and forth on Sweat a lot because Zach is his biggest cheerleader. And I like Josh Sweat, but the truth is that he completely disappeared the second half of last season, right?
Yep.
Not completely disappeared. And it looked like his body was just totally run down. And in this defense where we expect Vic Fangio is going to lean on his guys a little bit more than in years past, I do worry about Josh Sweat over the course of the season. But I do think that he's had a good camp. And he does need to be, whether it's him or Bryce Huff, one of those guys needs to be a borderline star on the edge. Now, he has that in him. Zach, will trot out that from the middle of 2021 to the middle of 2023, those 2 seasons, he was one of the best pass rushers in the league. That's true. But also the league spoke to his value this offseason. The Eagles tried to trade him. Nobody was biting, to the point that he had to take a pay cut, right? So there is reason to be skeptical of Josh Sweat long term, but I also think he has the tools, and as long as his body holds up, he should be an effective player for them.
What's your expectations? Like, what do you want to see out of him? Something tangible.
8 sacks. I think is realistic. I think double-digit sacks is what he would want, but I think 8 is realistic. I do think that so much of this comes down to how dominant can Jalen Carter be. Like if Jalen Carter is one of the 3 best defensive tackles in the league, which I think he can be, like he seems to me to be like he's the alpha on this defense. And if he is that every week, then all of a sudden it makes things so much easier for everybody else who's rushing the passer, right? If Jalen Carter is taking the attention away from opposing defenses and Josh Sweat can have one-on-ones against mediocre right tackles, then he can have that sort of Connor Barwin type of season where Fletcher Cox is taking all the attention and he racks up like 15 sacks.
Yeah. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino Online app. So let's go other side of the ball and let's go Jalen for a second because everybody has talked about the type of camp that he has, right? Zach has been glowing in his praise of Jalen. What does Bo say?
Yeah, I'm not all the way, sucking popsicles about his summer. Like he's been good.
Sucking popsicles.
That's a great line.
I mean, like he's been good. I thought the first week of camp he was awesome. I think since then it's been solid. He hasn't thrown interceptions. I don't make as much of the hasn't thrown interceptions thing as other people seem to. Like that's fine, but push the ball downfield. Now he's made some nice throws yesterday or Sunday rather. A really nice throw like in the cover 2 turkey hole to AJ Brown, beautifully done. We know he can make those throws. He looks athletic. He looks spry, which I think is very important after last year. And for the most part, the ball is coming out quickly, but I think that has been a little bit less so the past week. Maybe that's because the defense is picking things up. Maybe it's because the offensive line hasn't been as good. Lane Johnson takes a day off. Mekhi Becton leaves with practice, and all of a sudden you've got Fred Johnson and Brett Toth on the right side of the line of scrimmage, and Jalen is struggling to get the ball out. I don't think that he has been as good as he was in the summer of 2022, to my memory, when I thought he looked like a superstar. I think he's been very good. My expectations are high, but I don't think he's had like the best camp of his career.
Is your worry gone? The worry that you had from last year, has it dissipated when it comes to just Jalen?
No, because I think it would be silly to pretend that training camp matters more than what we see during regular season games. And so I have questions about how this offense is going to answer blitz questions because they were so bad at it last year. And frankly, in practice, they have not done a great job against the blitz. We saw it in the Patriots joint practice. Like they struggled to get the ball out. And so I have real questions about pre-snap diagnosis stuff without Jason Kelce. Jalen Hurts has said he's been looking forward to.
That was my next question.
Well, Jalen has said like he's been looking forward to getting this responsibility. It's something that he's been wanting for a while. Okay, we haven't seen it yet. Like, how are him and Cam Jurgens going to diagnose things before the snap? I don't know. We can't tell that out here. So yeah, I do still have questions about Jalen Hurts.
Hey, Bo, Jalen seems to be most effective when he's running the ball a bit. Have you seen any, like, in the practices, are there more designed run plays for Jalen from what you've seen?
That is still very much part of the offense. I go back to, like, the first day of training camp. They had, like, several new run plays installed for Jalen Hurts. There's no doubt that that's an important part of the offense, and it needs to be if this is going to be a top 5 offense, I think.
And did you see Jalen Mills' Instagram story?
No, I didn't. What did I miss?
He posted his Eagles jersey.
Oh, let's get him back. Let's get a third Jalen out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jalen Trips.
Little green goblin.
Yeah, we need another former corner turned safety.
Yeah.
I've got like 8 of them, yeah.
He was actually serviceable, though.
He was good.
Yeah. He was great. Yeah, I'm a big Jalen Mills guy.
Me too. I was always a goblin guy. Let me ask you this thing. Expectations for Barkley numbers, by the numbers. Give me rushing yards.
1,300.
All right.
Does that seem reasonable? Like not insane, but still productive?
Yeah. I mean, I thought anywhere from 11, 12 to 13, I think is there.
Yeah,
I mean, my
and
number was 12, you know.
okay. I think 11 is actually what first came to mind, and then I sort of pushed it up a little bit, but because I think he's going to get the ball a lot, and if he stays healthy, he's going to be the guy on the field. We spend a lot of time on Kenny Gainwell and Will Shipley, but they're not paying Saquon Barkley all that money to not have him on the field, right? And he's also the best guy they have on third down, so that's not like when you would take him off the field, right? I generally lean toward the idea that Saquon is going to be a huge factor in the receiving game.
Well, that was my next
overstated.
question. How many receiving yards?
Yeah, 350. Like, I don't think that he's going to be Christian McCaffrey.
If he's a huge part of that, you got to give me more than 350.
But I don't think he will be. I think you'll see the occasional shot play. Everybody talks about the touchdown on the wheel route against the Patriots in the joint practice. That's nice. And Jalen has to be willing to throw those. But I don't think that Saquon is going to be like the Christian McCaffrey of this passing game. And all of a sudden you're going to see him, have a 100-yard receiving game multiple times. And that's the story of the offense coming out of the game. I don't see that being the case for a couple of reasons. One being that I still need to see that Jalen is willing to throw the ball to running backs that often. And two being, I just A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are better. They should be the ones getting the ball. And I think that in this offense...
Oh, they're great. They're great. But hear me out for a second. Because, I mean, obviously, when you have two weapons like those guys, and you can put Goddard, who you want to have a better year than last year. But Saquon is such a weapon that he's going to be open all the time because of AJ and Devontae.
Well, Jalen's still got to be willing to throw it. And they also need Saquon to be in to protect. I haven't seen a ton of running back screens. Maybe that's something they're going to be working on when we're not here anymore. It's been more about sort of checkdowns and early swing passes. And frankly, last summer, all we heard was that DeAndre Swift is going to be the guy who changes things in this passing game. He's going to be a huge part of the passing game. Didn't turn out to be the case. I've heard it too much and not seen it to believe it just on what they're saying. I need to see them do it first.
So, Bo, by your numbers, we're talking an average of 71 yards a game rushing and 21 yards a game receiving. Is that enough to make us happy and satisfied with Saquon? That seems a little underwhelming.
Well, I mean, bake in a couple games missed for injury, something like that. I don't know. I think that's realistic. I think what he's here for is to change how good they are down the stretch. 4-minute drills. Can they rely on getting Saquon the ball and running out clock? Can they rely on him on short yardage situations and giving a little bit of extra juice to the offense that needs it, right? I think they looked at DeAndre Swift last year. He was good in the open field, but he didn't make guys miss at the second level enough. I think they want that out of Saquon. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to get your money's worth out of Saquon Barkley, but I don't think that was ever going to be the case when you pay a running back that much.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I like the rushing yards. I mean, I think that's fine. I would expect. I don't expect consistency in the receiving yards, Bo, but I do expect them to have some big games. Like I could see, 3 100-yard games. Judging by
that seems
how he should be
as
open,
a receiver.
Yeah,
maybe. I think what you need from Saquon is 3 games over the course of the season where he's the guy.
Throws the ball to the backs.
Yeah, sometimes. He had Pollard and Eckler last year, but Jalen needs to do it. It hasn't been Jalen's MO over the course of his career, so it's going to take a change in Jalen to believe it. I think what you want from Saquon is if there are games where AJ and Devontae are not the guys moving the offense, and you need somebody to step up, that it becomes a Saquon game. And there are 3 or 4 games over the course of the season where he is the guy on offense that gets them points.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, what's the schedule going on? What are you guys talking about? 2 o'clock today. I see you checking practice out. 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we got
today.
Kellen Moore. about to come out on the podium. We'll talk to him. And at 2 o'clock today, me and Rich Hoffman talking sort of big picture, what people may have missed over the course of camp. What happened in practice today. We'll talk about that. And then maybe some Ospreys conversation.
I like it. I like it. You're the man, buddy. Bo Wulf, go see what Kellen Moore has to say. He's going to throw the ball with Max. Thanks, buddy.
We'll see. All right. Thanks, guys.
There he is, Bo Wulf.
I'm just looking at Kellen Moore's first year with the Cowboys. Zeke Elliott had 420 yards receiving.
Yeah, when he said 300, I thought that 350. I thought that was light.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to expect somewhere between 500 and 600.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean,
I think 500 is a good number.
I mean, look, you got a guy that is going to. First of all, I have seen Kellen Moore throw the ball to the backs. Right? Second of all, he's such a gift to you. Like, why wouldn't you want to call his number? And Jalen's got to learn that check down safety stuff, right? So where he's getting flushed out just to get the ball out, and that's where you got Saquon. So I gotta believe
some screens.
Yeah, I mean, just
nice
quick hitters. Like, there's a lot. Not everything's got to be a wheel route home run.
I mean, in 2020, Zeke Elliott and Pollard combined for over 520 yards receiving.
Yeah. What was Eckler last year?
Give me a second.
I'm curious. Now, the other aspect of this, when it comes to Barkley, is they're going to make a trade, I presume, but they are thin after Devontae and Brown.
I'm surprised they haven't added anyone yet.
Yeah, but you don't add it now. You wait till cut down.
Austin Eckler, 436 yards last year.
So 436. I got to believe
in 14 games.
Yeah, I got to believe he's somewhere around 500.
Yeah, I would think so.
It just makes sense.
Got to use it as a weapon. Is that dangerous?
Yeah.
It's like Steve Guile in the chat. This dude is negative. Bo is lame.
I mean, I'm excited for Barkley. I don't know. And like the other aspect is, what do you mean Jalen's got to throw it? Of course he's going to throw it.
Bo is a little bit. I haven't been that impressed with Jalen. And
like, why wouldn't he throw the ball to Barkley? Like, why would that happen?
Yeah.
Listen.
Bo is negative today.
Like, it's not about DeAndre Swift. This is Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
All right. I like DeAndre Swift too, and I thought that was good. But we all knew that the offense was a mess last year. Mm-hmm. Now you extrapolate. With Kellen Moore, it's not going to be a mess. So I got to believe that Barkley gets way more touches. I'm excited for Barkley. All right, joining us, presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. One of our, he's the lead analyst for Bet Parks, the Brain.
Brain. Red, the Brain Finder.
Good day, Brain. Good day.
Good morning, my friend. How are you, Anthony?
Are you in down the shore in Avalon?
Well, not Avalon, Margate.
Margate.
But yes, I am down the shore in Margate. I'm only here for I think till the end of this week, which it's got to tell you, Anthony, I like it here so much more than I like it in Florida. I love it down here.
Yeah.
It's my happy place.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, did you go outside? How beautiful it is there. And there's a chill in the air. The Canadian winds have brought the chill that's going to take place in September, October.
Let me tell you something. Being down here, it's interesting because I speak to my parents all the time, obviously, and they're always complaining how hot it is in Philadelphia. And every single day here is 78 degrees, sunny with a nice breeze. I wouldn't make it 1 degree warmer, 1 degray colder. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's that big body of water outside your door. That's all right. Have you been to the salt water, the pizza place in Margate, the salt water, or Ventnor? Is that Ventnor or Margate? That's a Ventnor.
It's right across. It's right across the street from you. You got to come visit me. I'll take you.
Yeah,
you'll see the
guys there. It's tremendous.
Yeah, it's good.
That pizza is ridiculous.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Let me tell you something. That's the kind of pizza. If you eat that pizza, what you do is you don't eat all day until you have that, because that is there's different kinds of pizzas, right? Like there's this kind, all pizza's good, right? But there's certain kinds that are much more all right, this is a real meal.
The crust is artisanal. It's a fine crust. The way they do the dough.
You know what, man? I don't know about you, and I got this question. You know when you used to go, your kids, they'd eat the pizza and they wouldn't finish the crust? I would be so happy when my kids wouldn't finish the crust.
Yeah.
I'd be like, who doesn't eat the crust? Is I love the crust.
But it's got to be good
Love the
crust.
crust.
It can't be
Of course.
football
Oh,
crust.
come on. Of course.
You know?
Of course.
I'm with
Of
you.
course. That goes,
Yeah. No, my
that goes without
Anthony's an
saying, but-
anti-crust guy. My Anthony. He don't like the crust. I'm with you.
Yeah, I love the crust. Man. That's,
Brad, what kind of
that's
footwear
my
do you wear
favorite.
to the beach?
Well, great question. You know, it's funny. I basically usually just don't wear anything. I usually just, go in and I just take off my shoes right away and I just walk on the
Yeah,
sand.
that's what I would do.
Yeah, but you're wearing sneakers to the beach, cuz.
Yeah.
No.
And then if I walk near the water, as the water comes in, I'll take my shoes off. And
You're supposed to wear slides.
Do you own sandals, Brad?
Yeah, I have that. That's why I put it, and then I just usually take them off
Yeah.
when I get there. And,
Sandals.
no, he said shoes. He's with me.
He's me.
No, I
sandals.
usually sandals.
Oh, lame.
I'll show
you
you.
wear-
I have them right here.
Let me get your thoughts on this. VG wears skinny jeans to the beach.
No, BS. I'm calling BS.
No, if it's on a chilly day like today, I would. Yes.
Is that why they call you VG?
Because I wear skinny jeans?
No, because violation, man.
Oh. Listen,
Wearing jeans
none
to
of
the
us are
beach?
perfect. I'm not the Pope.
I mean,
He wants to
I've
be
never
a
seen that.
He's the rocker.
They're very-
the rocker's got to wear the skinny jeans on the beach.
They're very comfortable
He could,
jeans.
but you know what? You could pull it off. You could pull it off. Some people, I couldn't
No,
pull
we
it
can't.
off. But you can
Don't
pull it
tell him that. He can't pull it off. It's still a violation. It's terrible.
It's all about the baggy jeans,
All
VJ.
right, let me ask you a question. So
Yes, sir.
we were going through the numbers for Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
What do you expect rushing, receiving?
Well, again, look, here's the thing, Anthony. We always talk about it. It's like, how many games are you going to get out of it? Are you going to get 17? Are you going to get 15?
Right, right. I mean,
but I
that's
think
all.
he's going to get.
That's all understood.
I think I can expect. Let's say more like from an over/under perspective. How many yards do I expect per game? How about that? And I think Saquon can get in the games he plays. Let's call it around maybe 75 yards a game, which is a really good number. That's a really good number.
Rushing and receiving.
Rushing.
Yeah.
Rushing. I think he could definitely do that. I really do. Look, because I think to me, I don't think Anthony got this guy in here to like not use him. And it's interesting. Did you see? Well, you read the article, and it's funny. Everyone, I bitched to you about it like during the game. I felt the Eagles lost themselves last year where they got. And listen, I get it's a pass happy league. No one gets that more than me. Okay. But this was a team that had a really good offensive line and a really good running game that basically said they started treating it like it was cancer. And I think that was a real mistake. I think it hurt the defense. I think it hurt the offense. I don't think they brought this guy in here to just say, you know what, you have a great resume, but let's only give you the ball 13, 14 times. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I think he's going to get 17, 18 carries a game.
Yeah, I think he has to. I agree.
I think he has to. That's exactly right. I think he has to. And if he
the
doesn't,
whole point of getting Saquon Barkley if I'm Howie, is to also take the pressure off of Hurts in the run game, right? Like
100%,
there was so
100%.
much pressure on him, and you exposed him so much in the run game that you get a Barkley. You don't need to do that if you're Jalen. Once in a while you have him in it, but other than that, he's clean.
Look, we see it the same way. Did you see the article today on ESPN, Anthony? They talked, Barnwell talked about he had the Eagles as his top regression team. You see that?
No, I did not. He's usually pretty good with that. So
he is. He's very. The guy's a very smart guy. I actually like reading him. But he had like 5 teams listed as teams that are most likely to fall backwards, and the Eagles were like on the group of 5.
Who do you have?
We'll
Eagles,
see.
who else?
He had Giants, believe it or not, who already won. Like how much farther can you fall than the Giants?
I mean,
but he had the Giants.
that goes without saying.
Yeah, he had Pittsburgh. Oh, sorry, BJ. No, he had Pittsburgh. All right, man. He had Pittsburgh. Actually, one he did that I disagreed with was Cleveland. Now, I guess from a pure record standpoint, they won 11 games last year. But I just think this is a good team. But again, from a record standpoint, yeah,
it all
division,
goes to Watson. It's all about Watson for me.
100%. 100%. It does come down to Watson. So he had those, I think those, and he had one other, I can't remember, but I know the Eagles, the Giants, the Ravens, which I agree with wholeheartedly. Ravens, again, was one of my biggest bets on their under. I'll dare that team to win 12 games, but it's now
It's
down to
hard
10 and
to
a half.
come back after when you play. You have that year I mean, Lamar was special, and they went through tight ends. You remember how many tight ends they went through?
Well, they had obviously they lost Andrews, which was just a really tough loss. But likely, look, they actually were one of the rare teams, maybe the only team, Anthony, that actually has a good If Isaiah Likely was on, I'll say this confidently, 20 of the other 32 teams, he would be starting. So they actually did have a good backup, which helped save their bacon a little bit because they were certainly the Odell Beckham thing didn't work out for them, and the kid from Minnesota, the first round pick, Rashad Bateman, still hasn't really panned out. So to me, that was Lamar. They won because of Lamar's greatness. They didn't even have a great running back, ironically enough. So that's an interesting.
No, they got hurt. All their guys got hurt. Is that what was the main reason why the Eagles were going to regress?
Well, look, Anthony, a lot of this stuff comes down to, and this is why the biggest difference between sports gambling now versus when I was first starting, it used to be everyone just looked at your record, right? The Eagles won 11-6. They were good last year, right? Now, it sounds counterintuitive about to say to you, don't laugh, but it's almost like no one looks at your record anymore. What do I mean by that? It's what your record should be, what your points versus points allowed. It's called the Pythagorean theory. What you really should have been, not what you were. What you were is
we always looked at it like that. We always knew
the process over result, right?
It's and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, they only were +5 in points scored versus points allowed for the entire season, which is remarkable, which graded out to 8.6 wins out of the 17-game season, and they won 11. And they brought up, and when I do the Eagles pregame show, I got just destroyed because I kept saying this team was massively due for regression when they were 10-1. Because he walked through 5 straight games they theoretically easily could have lost, and they won all of them. He went through the Chiefs game, which obviously was crazy, the
Buffalo,
Bills game,
Miami.
which was crazy, the Dallas game. Yeah, and the Miami game wasn't a lucky game. That one really wasn't. They got some great fortunate calls, but there was the overtime game against Washington.
Yeah.
There was a stretch of 5 straight games where they gone 0-5 or 5-0. They happened to go 5-0. Theoretically, they should have gone 2.5. So there was 2.5 wins right there. So basically, just talking about that, and then he went through the defense. He's like, White is a guy that Tampa Bay released. He couldn't play. He said that Fangio, when they got rid of him, Miami was literally doing cartwheels. Literally, he goes, every single player was ecstatic about how much they despised Vic Fangio. Now, is that Miami's fault for being, I don't know, they want to say it not tough enough, or maybe is there some validity to that? I don't pretend to know that. So he basically was saying that and some of the defensive players they added, Chauncey Gardner, is he, they let him go, now they're bringing him back. That Bradbury's only on the team because of the contract, kind of a guaranteed contract, and basically saying, is this team good? Jordan Davis has been a bust. Basically, how good Jalen Carter really faltered down the stretch. How good is this defense? Which again, these are all in my opinion valid questions.
I think you got to take into account youth.
Yeah.
Listen, I know right now we're in the training camp glow, right? The training camp glow because you're always going to look at things positive. Because you're gonna take it, you're practicing against each other. So he looks good. But I don't understand. I do like the youth. I think they have some good youth. I said this to start the show that I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be concerned if they gave up 30 to Green Bay in week 1. I fully expect Green Bay to score in week 1, but by the end of the season, they start to fall into a pattern where they get much better. I've seen it over and over again, and I was referencing Spags. We talk about it all the time. When you have young players and now they have a change of coordinator, you're going to have early trouble or early struggles, and then it gets ironed out, and then you start to play well in November, December.
I mean, listen, Anthony, it makes a lot of sense. And listen, it's interesting. Out of all the teams, out of all 32 teams, the one division bet of any team that moved the most, Anthony, was the Eagles. They opened it at +120 to win the division. They're now -170, I think, -170. So that has moved more than any other bet of any division has been the Eagles. So listen, while maybe Barnwell wrote an article singing why it could not work out from a betting perspective, which is always what I think is the sharpest, smartest moves. They're bullish on Philadelphia. And listen, obviously, this is a talented team, and I think they at least made adjustments in the coaching staff, which clearly needed to be done. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. What do you got tonight? By the way, how about my man Boyle? Pitch well.
Here's first of all, he walked the bases loaded twice. He didn't give up. I think he gave up one hit. Walked the bases loaded twice. But listen,
Strikeout
you
stuff.
called. I was
told
thinking of you.
He's
He
wild,
pitched really
but
well.
he's got strikeout stuff.
He did. He had a great game. Listen, I was thinking of you as he. I was like, freaking Anthony, you're right again, you son of a gun. But anyway, that was you were 100% right. Well, what kind of it happens? He pitched
No,
a
I
good
didn't mean
game.
for
I tipped my
that.
cap to him.
I would never listen. You're the pro, but like there's
No, but
certain
I get
kids,
it. He did a really good job. Listen, a couple games today. Minnesota's going in San Diego. Now, San Diego's playing really well. Minnesota's team I really do like, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Bailey Ober has been really, really good going against Martin Perez. Now, Martin Perez has been very Patrick Corbin-like in his career. Okay?
Yeah.
Here's a guy, a typical five-starter, goes 5 innings, give up 7 hits, 3 or 4 runs. That's his MO, but he's carved out a nice 12-year career because he's an innings eater. He's actually pitched well his last 3 games since he got traded to San Diego. But I'm going to say, I'm not just going to take those 3 games. I'm going to say Bailey Ober's been a really good pitcher with a really good lineup behind him. You could take -112, I think it is on the Park site right now. I'm going to take my chances at Minnesota with a much better pitcher, much better lineup, and a pick'em game.
Yeah.
Now, I did look at the 5-inning line, but the 5-inning line was about 25 cents more expensive. So I bailed on that. I'm just going to take the game because the Padres do have the best bullpen in baseball. Next, Anthony, I'm going to take the Phillies. Anytime Zach Wheeler pitches, anytime he pitches, I'm going, and I can lay $1.30. I don't care who it's against. I mean, I really don't care who it's against. I really think that he is as good, besides maybe Skubal, right there is the best, Skubal American League, but right there is the best pitcher in the league. Chris Sale, there's a handful of guys. So my point being is, listen, Lopez has pitched really well for the Braves, but his first start with the shoulder fatigue. So again, these things you don't know how they're going to go. I would like to think the Phillies can maybe touch him for at least 3 runs or so this game. And in addition, look, they just lost Austin Riley. The Braves did get Michael Harris back, but they lost Riley, who's one of their big home run hitters. And against a guy like Wheeler, it's hard to get rallies, right? So you need guys who can hit home runs, in my opinion. Losing their second best home run hitter to me is a big loss. They've already obviously lost to Cunha and Albies. I'll just take my chance with the Phillies, and I'll give you a prop. I didn't get this line, Anthony. Matthew Boyd, who's been a journeyman starter, did have one random good year 7 years ago, just off the DL. They made his strikeouts 5.5. I didn't get it. Now it's pricey. It was -160 on the under. He's going against a team of the Yankees that doesn't strike out much, but a team could also knock him out of the game early. I'm not expecting a ton of innings, probably only 5. He strikes out less than 1 inning in his career. I don't understand why this is 5.5. I would have made this 4.5 all day. I think that's our edge. I'm going to take Matthew Boyd under 5.5 strikeouts.
What do you think of Buehler strikeouts? Because like Gavin Stone struck out, I think 11 Mariners last night.
Anthony, Massimo would strike out over. Massimo would probably strike out over 3.5 against Seattle.
I know.
I'm not even just saying. Listen, the only thing is with Buehler, and I actually do like Seattle side in the game because Miller's pitching really well, and Buehler's just been a gas man this year. I mean, some of these guys just don't come back from the injury as well.
Yeah.
But I don't care who's going against Seattle pitching wise. I will never take a Seattle under in strikeouts. Buehler used to be a dominant strikeout guy, Anthony. Hasn't really found that touch since he came back. But, man, you talk about tasty matchups. I know you're a matchup guy. This is the 5-star French course, the tastiest meal you're going to get because Seattle, every single category always leads in strikeouts. For the year, last 2 weeks, last month, it's Seattle all day. So if he doesn't do it in this game, he's never going to do it. I think it's 5.5.
Love it. Brain. The Bet Parks betting analyst at Brad's Best Bets. Good stuff, my brother.
Appreciate you guys.
See you
guys
buddy.
tomorrow. Be good.
Enjoy the shore and the beautiful weather. Let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. Yes, tonight we got this is nice, man. A little fightings tonight. You gotta love it, man. Wheels up tonight. It's big. Hey, don't forget, you got the opener right around the corner for the NFL. Fightings tonight. The one and only sportsbook app that we'll ever recommend, BetParks, and the BetParks Sportsbook app has a great offer for new customers to kick off the upcoming pro football season. How about an amazing 50-1 odds boost on the team you pick to win this year's championship? That's right. All new users who sign up, make a deposit, is going to receive a 50-1 super odds boost. Just pick your team and get odds boosted to 50-1. That's right, 50-1. That's from the BetPark Sportsbook app. Here are the top 6 favorites. Philadelphia, as you know, KC, San Fran, Baltimore, Detroit, Cincinnati. Download the BetPark Sportsbook online casino app right now and get your 50-1 super odds boost on your pick for this year's championship. This is a limited time offer for new customers only. BetParks.com has terms and conditions. Restrictions apply. You're going to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, and Maryland. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, because, all right, guys, listen up. There's not a much better feeling than going to a store when you're looking for something you really need and the person who works here tells you, we got that. Well, guys, our friends over at Ace Hardware, that's what they're there for. They're here to tell you we got that and help you for whatever you need for in or outside the house. It's your hardware store of choice, guys. Got a leaky pipe at Ace Hardware Home Services around the block with everything you need to fix that, including the person to do the fixing for you as well. Got an air conditioning issue, especially with the summer, guys? You do not want to go through that. Ace Hardware has a person for that as well. Got a faucet. You said that you would fix. That leak is still leaking there. Well, they have a person for that as well because they're not only just they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks as well. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they got the most trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services are bringing helpful home, the helpful and you love, from the store now to your front door. Guys, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get you started on your next project. Again, that's acehardwarehomeservices.com. Or listen, they have a bunch of different locations. There's one on Girard at 900 block on Girard Ave. You can walk in as well. Anything you guys need, Ace Hardware is your place for everything around the house. And as they always say, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. Cuz
you got it, JP. Thanks, buddy. We're back on the Anthony Gargano Show. This hour is presented by Rite Aid. Find all your favorite goods from the store nearest you. All right. With the big series about to commence, big stretch, right? 3 with Atlanta, 3 at Kansas City. Royals are really good. Come home, Astros, and then 4 more with Atlanta. So busy 2-week stretch. I wanted to kind of bring on a big gun.
love it.
Oh, I love. We used to work together in New York, and he is incredible when it comes to baseball. From Fox Sports and MLB Network, he's the great Tom Verducci, MLB insider. Tom, good to see you, buddy. You look great. God bless you.
Yeah, thanks, man. How you doing, Anthony? It's good to be on your show.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? One of the greatest baseball guys ever. Storytelling, you go inside the game. So not only do you give me the nuance of baseball, but you also captivate the beauty of it. Dude, I tell you, I'm so proud of your work, what you do.
Appreciate that, man. I tell people all the time, though, I'm lucky because I always loved to write, always loved sports, and baseball was my favorite sport. It just worked out. I got to do what I love to do. And I thank my dad, too. He was a football and baseball coach in high school. So I always looked at sports a little bit differently than, say, your average fan. I kind of looked at it like the way a coach would, even when I was a little kid, because I saw all the work he was doing in practice and such. So, I'm blessed to have this job for so long.
It's so funny, man. It's so true because I look at it the same way. They're mocking me today. They go, "Okay, coach, whatever you say, coach." It's the same thing. So big stretch for the Phillies, and they had a bit of a funk post All-Star break. And I'm just curious, when you look at them, do they have the same juice in your mind as they did for the first half of the season?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I picked this team in Baltimore as my World Series teams before the year started, partly with the Phillies anyway, because you know what they are, right? They know each other. They've been around each other enough. They're battle tested in postseason on the good side and the bad side. And I think when you go through a stretch like this, when you're a good team and you know who you are, you don't concern yourself with anything. You don't doubt yourself at all. And I think it's inevitable, Anthony, in the course of a season that even good teams go through a stretch like that. And let's face it, I mean, they were so good early on, and the schedule was easy. I mean, I know players don't want to hear that, but that's a fact of life in the game. And the schedule kind of caught up with them. Just the grind of the season did, for that period there. I think Turner and Harper were both not hitting for a couple of weeks. And I also think that Rob Thompson smartly kind of took his foot off the gas pedal a little bit. They gave Wheels a break during the All-Star break. Suarez was hurt a little bit. They started dialing back the pitch counts a little bit. And I think that players, whether intentionally or not, kind of picked up on that signal. Like, all right, it's a long season, man. We just can't drive, 80 miles an hour all the way to the finish. And I think that's what you're seeing. And I think definitely you'll respond. You make a good point about the schedule here. It's tough the next 13 games, but look, they weren't playing well and they walked into Dodger Stadium. They played well in that series. So to me, this is a team that's going to rise to the moments.
Yeah, and to your point, it was bizarre around there in a beautiful way. But end of April, May, June, Citizens Bank Park had an October feel to it. And while I thought it was beautiful, Tommy, it's not sustainable. Like every night the crowd was into it, and it felt like it did in October, and that's just not what baseball is.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you just can't sustain it. Even the best teams, they just can't sustain it. I will tell you, though, if there's one thing I'd be concerned about, and they have certainly time to fix this, it's the bullpen. I mean, I don't know whether it's some fatigue going in here. Listen, you saw what happened with Dominguez and Soto. They got off those guys because they just weren't throwing enough strikes. And Baltimore, to my shock, actually, and said, "Oh, we'll just fix them." It's not that easy, man. I mean, if a team is in a pennant race and they're not in a circle of trust, and you're picking them up right away, and you think they're going to be in your circle of trust right away, I just think I think Baltimore really did not do a good job at the trade deadline. And to me, I look at what the Phillies did with Soto and Dominguez. I can't blame them for it because these guys just weren't reliable enough, and they weren't taking the ball in the seventh and ninth innings with a lead. So you move on from that, but the fact is now they've got probably Strom and Hoffman maybe back off them a little bit. I still like the bullpen. Don't get me wrong. I think they're in a phase right now. They are a little bit vulnerable. So it happens when you win a lot of games, right? You use winning pieces a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be fine. But I do think that's the one concern I have in the next couple of weeks.
And in my only one, and I'll run this by you, would be Suarez, right? Because they have to have Ranger right. And really what he was during the first couple months of the season, he's your number 3 starter in a game 3. He's a lefty, right? You saw him in the playoffs the last 2 years, very low, like unflappable with all the pressure. So I think they need him right by the playoff time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they've been smart with him, obviously. I'm not sure how the level of the injury that's caused him to be out this long, but they were concerned about his injury. So this is a way to back off him a little bit. I agree with you. He's kind of that swing guy here. I never worry about him in a postseason spot. Strike thrower, field his position well, and is just such a cool customer out there. I mean, I love it when they brought him out of the bullpen because he's a guy who can do that. A lot of guys are like, hey, man, I'm a starter. Don't get me off my routine. He doesn't care. He's like, give me the ball and I'll go get people out. So you're right. You don't worry about Wheeler and Nola. I don't worry about Suarez at all, but you just want to make sure he's right. So
let's look at the rest of the National League. How's Milwaukee doing it? I mean, like Churio's terrific. Obviously big time prospect, and Terang, but no Yelich. He's down. He's done. Contreras is like ageless. How's that team doing what they're doing, man?
It's amazing, man. They've used 17 starting pitchers this year. 17, and they're in first place. That's the most in the league. They've had 11 different guys with a save. I mean, Pat Murphy, the manager, he used to be the coach at Arizona State, Notre Dame. They play like a college team. I mean, they run the bases as well as anybody. They're probably, if not the best defensive team in baseball, the top 2 or 3. They're very athletic. It's next man up mentality. You mentioned Churio. He was really bad the first 2 months of the season, but man, he has turned it on. I mean, he is a force right now. He's got skills sort of like a Ronald Acuna Jr. I can't put him there yet, obviously, but he's that kind of dynamic player. Speed, defense, power, you name it. So This is a team I think, out of the gate, we didn't pay enough attention to because they lost Corbin Burns. Woodruff wasn't ready to pitch yet. Council leaves for the Cubs. Like, who are the Brewers? Well, they figured out who they are really quickly. They're a dangerous team, Anthony. I don't discount them. I look at Milwaukee and Cleveland, two teams in the postseason. You're like, who are these guys? I'm not going to pay too much attention to them. But if you watch them play, and especially in a postseason environment, because both those teams have really, really good bullpens, they're a pain in the neck to play. They're going to be a bad matchup for somebody. They're like a college football team that maybe it doesn't have top 5-star recruits, but the way they play offense and defense is a little bit funky. They're just a bad matchup, I think, if you're the team with, say, the better talent.
Yeah, that's a great way. That's a great analogy, man. Like just the way they play it and you hate them. You just don't want to. You don't want to deal with it. Now, the opposite of them is the Dodgers, right? They're just regal. They get Betts back. They look dangerous. Now, their rotation, I don't know. I mean, how's that going to play out? You have all those guys. Bueller doesn't look like himself after the surgery. What's that rotation? Glasnow back on the IL. What's that look like to you?
Anthony, I don't know. And if you ask the Dodgers, they'll tell you they don't know. You're talking about rotation for October because that's all that matters. And that's been their bugaboo the last couple of years. They win 100-plus games. They go into October. They just don't have starting pitchers who are healthy and on point at that point. So, I mean, in an ideal world, yeah, they want to go Yamamoto, Glasnow, Bueller, go 1, 2, 3, and maybe Kershaw as a fourth. They have no idea if those guys are going to be available. Glasnow is on the IL. Yamamoto is just starting to throw bullpens. Does he get back from the shoulder injury in time to give them 6 innings as a starter in a postseason environment? I don't know. They don't know. You mentioned Bueller. If you look, the spin rates on all of his pitches are way down. Not just a little bit. Velocity's there, but that ball just does not have the same life. I'd be concerned if I were the Dodgers. I can't count on him right now to be a playoff starter. Maybe he gets there. He's still got another month and a half, but he's not there now. Kershaw threw great the other day. He's not a swing and miss guy, but, man, he competes his butt off. His command is still awesome. I would trust him as a 5-inning guy in the postseason, probably not much more than that. Again, you don't want him as a 1 right now, but he's good. Still, I trust him giving the ball. Yamamoto and Glasnow. I mean, to me, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I think at the end of the season, Anthony, they are going to be right there with the Phillies as the best teams in the league. You saw they got Muncy back last night. They got Edman back last night.
Hit a home run.
And listen, I'm telling you, they're going to be a different team in September. It's like, I don't want to say they walked through these last couple of months, but they had so many guys hurt, and their guys are moving in and out. They're getting healthy. And if the Dodgers are at full strength, they are going to be a beast.
So is there anybody wild card wise that you think could make some noise that could be scary?
I mean, listen, I know the Braves are undermanned with the injuries, but just their pedigree, man. They know they're like the Phillies in a big spot, man. They're not going to back down from anybody. Sale, you got to believe at this point, this is legit, man. His stuff is as good as it was back in 2019, 2018. I'm interested to see how Lopez throws the ball tonight coming off the IL. And, he was a reliever, converted to starter. Does he have enough gas in the tank to take this into September and October? He's been great. He's been awesome. He's been the best pitcher in baseball with runners in scoring position this year. So I still, because of the pedigree, like the Braves. But in terms of the wild cards, whether it's the Mets, the Giants, probably not the Cardinals. I don't think there's a team on the periphery that's going to go like in Arizona and run through a few series this year in the National League. I just don't see them measuring up to the Phillies, the Dodgers, even the Brewers.
Yeah, I look at the Mets. And they were scary for a bit, right? And you like the lineup, but I don't know if you have the pitching to kind of do that.
No, I agree. I mean, they walk way too many guys. They've been a hot and cold team all year. I should have mentioned San Diego, by the way, because San Diego to me is scary good right now. And by the way, they have won the series from the Dodgers already. So if they tie, they win the division. I don't think they're going to catch the Dodgers. But man, that bullpen is as good as there is in the National League right now with the addition of Tanner Scott. And Dylan Cease at the top of your rotation. He can win a game by himself. His stuff is that good. So San Diego, if they get Tatis back especially, we still don't know, by the way. I mean, he's got that stress fracture in the leg, and we just don't know when he's going to get back. Does he have enough time to get some ABs in before October? Even without him, I think they're scary, but they're really scary if he gets back.
Hey, let's talk big picture for a second because, we used to cover the game together years ago, and you've made this this is you, man. This sport, MLB. I love where the game is at. I love where the young players, and I'm just curious how you view it. I think we're in a great place with MLB and where it's going. I think it's back.
I totally agree. I think a lot of this is really due to the pitch timer. I was really concerned about where baseball was going at these 3.5, 4 hour games where there was just so much dead time. And in the snap of the fingers, they cut out 20, 25 minutes of dead time. The game is so much better to watch right now, just alone because of that. But you're right. If you look, and I know that probably nobody's going to win 100 games this year. It's like, what's wrong with baseball? I think that's a good thing because we've got a lot of teams in contention, right? And that's what you want. You want as many teams. You want crazy pennant races. And hopefully we get that this year. But also the young talent, man. I look at like Gunnar Henderson, Ellie De La Cruz, Bobby Witt Jr., Mason Wynn, CJ Abrams. We're looking at shortstops, Anthony, that are like 6'2", 6'3", or in LA's case, huge, at 200, 210 pounds, hitting 30, 40 home runs. These are shortstops.
Yeah.
And the game is just loaded with them. I mean, you look around football, basketball, the players are getting bigger, but we're seeing that in baseball too. I think size and athleticism, man, is off the charts. These guys are fascinating to watch. Buddy Harrelson is not playing shortstop for the New York Mets. These guys are like sluggers now playing the middle of the diamond. It's awesome.
It's funny. I love Tulowitzki because I thought had he stayed healthy, like Tulo would have been that kind of in that same vein. But man, you're right. Like Wynn is ridiculous. Bobby Witt, damn man, he is one of the most talented players. I'm glad that the Phillies fans are going to get to see him coming up because he's such a great dynamic player. And how about the Orioles? They bring up Jackson Holliday, and all he does is rake.
He's amazing. The Orioles are loaded with young players. You watch them play, they're loaded with athletes. I mean, they're aggressive swinging the bats. They run the bases. They're always looking to take the extra base. Brandon Hyde's done a great job with that team. But, yeah, the game is in a great place, Anthony. The only thing I'd caution MLB about is they're really hung up now on starting pitchers not pitching deep in the game. They want to start changing rules. Well, I shouldn't say they want to. They're talking about changing.
I was going to bring this up to you.
Like a starter has to stay in 6 innings. We're not there yet, man. I mean, you got to be careful about putting your thumb on the scale too early and too much. And I think that's too much to me, changing the rules. There's probably so many unintended consequences to get that. Would I like to see guys throwing 250 innings and pitching complete games? Of course. Just not where the game is. And I don't know that that's taking away from the fans' enjoyment of the game. I don't know that we're there yet. If this trend continues and it gets worse, maybe. But just be careful. I would go slow with changing rules of the game.
Yeah, I don't know how you police that either. Like, you got guys in parallel. We talk about pitch counts all the time, and now you want to go long. And listen, I love the fact that there's nothing like when we'd watch a Gooden or you name it, Wells and all of them go full nine. But Doc Halladay, all those great things. But you can't force that if it's not there, especially since you're not teaching it in the minors.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Yeah, I mean, these teams are so afraid about "quote unquote" overusing guys, and the irony is they're actually breaking down more than they ever have anyway.
Yeah.
It's the great mystery of baseball, right? Why do pitchers pitch less but break down more? After I've talked to a bunch of people in the medical field about this, they really think it does come down to velocity, that they're throwing basically too hard for the arm to withstand. And I believe that because most times, even starting pitchers they get in the game, you see it from pitch one. They're trying to get swing and miss. They're trying to get strikeout. They're throwing as hard as they can. There's no pacing yourself. There's not trying to get a ground ball. There's nobody throwing 88 with a 85-mile-an-hour cutter or sinker. It's a game of power. I get it. So I think this is the game we have, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But again, be careful about changing rules.
The other thing, too, is I think kids, I think it starts when they're young, too. I have an 11U travel player, and, the schedule's unbelievable. It's just, ridiculous. He plays travel ball in Little League, right? So, you're playing 60, 70 games. And these kids are throwing constantly. And it's not just pitching, right? It's just the motion over and over and over again.
Yeah, which is great, by the way. I mean, I love to see, baseball fields filled as I drive
Yeah.
by, but the problem is, you mentioned you're on like multiple teams now, and if you're a pitcher, it's really a curse to have a good arm early because people are going to use you. You can get people to miss. I like guys, even with drafting players. I hate drafting that high school kid who's throwing 98, 99. That is scary to me.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a good athlete, a guy who plays shortstop and pitches, and is throwing 88, 89, but he's got really good mechanics. You can tell he's a good athlete. Those are the guys to me that last. So it's very tough for for parents and for young kids to say, well, Johnny, don't pitch today. But you really do have to say that sometimes. And it's I think the travel ball business is awesome, man. My kids went through it. It's great. But as a parent, you have the responsibility, even more so the coaches, because they have too many kids to keep track of, about not letting your kid get crazy when it comes to pitching.
Hey, Tom, honored to speak with you. I'm a big fan of your work. You wrote an interesting piece on the Padres, and they're a team I really like watching right now, where you had mentioned they went through 11 batting coaches in 11 years, and they're a team that puts the ball in play. They bunts. They might be the first team to get to the playoffs with 1,000 singles in like 8 years. If they go on a run, and you just mentioned it's a game of power, but do you see some teams maybe rethinking the strategy of home runs or strikeouts, home runs or bust, and maybe putting the ball in play more?
I don't think teams will rethink it entirely because I still think home runs are what people want. It changes the game so quickly. Think about it. The average game, you're only going to get 8 hits. If 1 or 2 of those are home runs, you get a really good chance of winning the game. Teams that hit a second home run in the game win that game 70% of the time. Okay, so all these front offices know that's what drives the game. But I will say this, when the Padres trade for a guy like Luis Arraez, who I think the sabermetric community misses the boat on him because they don't give him enough credit. I want some guys like that in my lineup. I don't think I want 9 of them in my lineup. But yeah, I think what you're talking about is a better balance. You still want guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. But I want guys who can put that ball in play with the guy on third and less than 2 outs, right? Look at Seattle and how many times they strike out. They're a tough watch, man. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because they just don't put the ball in play enough. So I think what you're talking about here with San Diego is give me a balance. And if you're a hitting coach, you're a manager, you're a coaching staff, and you can get your teams into moving runners and pushing guys along and just putting the ball in play and make it tough on the pitchers, that's a winning combination. I'll tell you what, too, guys, especially in October, right? I mean, it does seem like the teams that can put the ball in play, have an edge when it comes to October because there's so much great pitching on the mound.
And one more thing. We have a weird perception of Aaron Nola here. What's a national guy think about Aaron Nola? Like, he seems like for here, when he's on the mound, everyone's nervous. We're waiting for the one inning where he implodes. But overall, his stats, he looks like a above-average pitcher. So what's a national guy think of Aaron Nola?
Well, he's kind of freakish because he's so durable, right? We just talked about the injuries, right? This dude's taking the ball every 5 or 6 days, and he does like it every 5th day. So Phillies would probably go with a 6-man here. I don't think Wheeler and Nola really love that. They love their routines. They love to pitch. They love to go on the 5th day. I remember Aaron telling me once he obviously went to high school in New Orleans, and his baseball team went to the doctors from the Saints were at some clinic or something, and the baseball players went through this, and they were testing their flexibility, and the doctors told these guys, we're going to move your arm back, pull it back, and you just tell us when it hurts. Well, they kept pulling his arm back, and he wasn't saying anything. They got worried. He's like, I don't feel anything. He's like hyper freaky flexible, and you can tell by the way he throws a baseball. He's done it year after year. Those are the kind of guys I like to watch pitch. Yeah. But you're right. There'll be times where he gets hit, right? And as long as he throws he's got command of his curveball, to me, he's not going to get hit. The times when he gets hit, he tends to just spray the curveball a little bit or maybe get too predictable with it. But I like watching him pitch. I mean, I think he's learned a lot being around Wheeler, the way he moves the ball now in and out a lot. National perspective this is a rare bird in the game where you start the season and that guy's making 30 starts for you. There's not too many guys where you say that.
Hey, last thing, Tom. People won't know how great a writer that you are. Your books are amazing. You got any things in the work? Are you working on a project?
I do. I have a project that I haven't begun to write it yet, but I'm in the research phase. All I can tell you, Anthony, is it's going to read like a novel, but it's a true story, a baseball story from about 100 years ago that you won't believe is true, that it actually happened. The hint I'll give you is it's a cross between The Natural and The Shawshank Redemption. How's that?
Oh, that's a great tease. That's Greenland, man. That is
There you go.
I want to do the film. That sounds incredible, man. Great stuff. Joe Madden, the Book of Joe, the Cubs, the Yankees, all your stuff is just great, man. We appreciate it, brother.
Speaking of Joe, we do a podcast together. It's called The Book of Joe. We started doing it after the book came out. And our last episode, our guest was Jerry Seinfeld. We actually had 2 episodes with Jerry Seinfeld. Imagine Joe Madden and Jerry Seinfeld together.
Wow.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, man, that's fabulous. The Book of Joe podcast, so people can download that and listen to it. That's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Wherever you get
Joe
your
is from
podcast.
Hazleton, Pennsylvania, not far from here. So, we kind of claim him.
He's still there. He's probably playing golf right now, and of course, somewhere around Hazleton.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Tom, thanks so much, brother. Great to connect, man. You are the best. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
The great Tom Verducci joining us on the program, MLB Insider, MLB Network, Fox. He does an incredible job.
It's great insight there.
Yeah, he's quite knowledgeable about baseball.
No, he was always that way. He was one of those guys that I work with that you knew what was going to remain in just covering baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it, but I needed more. Like, I liked different stories. I needed more variety. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot more football and, the whole thing. Tom is a special talent. All right, let's talk about True Fan Travel, because True Fan Travel is your passport to the world of sports. We were talking about Brazil. Well, True Fan Travel is doing, it's Philly sports trips. It's Vince. I tell you about him all the time. They're doing an amazing trip to Brazil. They're doing an amazing trip to Tampa and to New Orleans. In fact, New Orleans is its own charter. So if you haven't been to New Orleans, go to phillysportstrips.com or truefantravel.com. And I want you to check out this trip to New Orleans. To see the Birds play down there, what a special time. I know Angelo Cataldi's going to be on that trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an incredible kind of charter plane leaving from Philadelphia, all Eagles fans doing the EAG, LES on the trip. They have all kinds of things. Spring training, which is always a blast for next year. The LA trip is a big trip. In fact, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson are going to be the MVP honored guests on those trips. So that's what True Fan Travel does. Philly Sports Trips does, is they bring this whole world to you. It's VIP travel for all of us fans, and you make relationships. It's great for the brethren. You'll absolutely love it. So you're going to check out all they have to offer at phillysportstrips.com and truefantravel.com, which is absolutely amazing. Let's talk about Parx Casino. I told you about the Bet Parx Sportsbook and Casino app, which is always fun. But what about the entertainment of the casino? Look, you're a foodie. You're looking for something to do. What amazing culinary stuff. They have a great steakhouse. They have the hand-rolled sushi from the Bamboo Noodle House, which is amazing. I really want you to check out their Epic Happy Hour. You want fun? The Epic Happy Hour is ridiculous. $5 happy hour. Drafts of Ford Stout, Victory Seasonal, Parks Pills, $5 glasses of Albertoni Cabernet. The drink of summer is the $5 Twisted Tea Frozen Whiskey Arnold Palmer's. I mean, you can't beat that. And they have all the fun stuff, right? They have the Sight Center, which has all the big kind of comedians and acts. They have an amazing poker room, a collection of 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games, headliners again every weekend at the 1,500 seat Excite Center. Check it out, man. ParksCasino.com. Got to be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino. This is how you win. All right. We have reached 10:30 across the Delaware Valley. We're brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Go to truemark.com/PHLY to see the credit union difference. So, a couple things here, guys, I want to cover before we get to VG's Nugs. One, Brad brought up the Bill Barnwell piece on ESPN. So Bill Barnwell does this every year. He does regressions. He picks 4 teams or 5 teams like this year who he believes through the numbers will have a regression. Last year, he was 4-0. All 4 teams that he picked to regress did regress. Well, this year he said Giants, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, and the Eagles.
How are they going to regress more from the end of last year?
Well, I mean,
It's an interesting way to look at
you
last
start
year.
off 10-1, so does he believe that there is a further regression? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I mean, again, he brings it up,
the schedule,
and I start to go,
coordinators.
I think this is where the numbers can lie.
His
Like-
numbers?
Yes, because he goes strictly inside numbers, point differential, all that stuff. And sometimes it tells a story. But this story, you just said coordinators. Their coordinators are buttoned up. Yeah, they have youth on defense.
Yeah.
I think it's good youth. I like their youth at corner. Now, I grant it, Jalen Carter has to be the beast we're expecting. Jordan Davis has to stay on the field. And those young corners need to assimilate, right? All the other the Kobe Dean we're talking about, Nolan Smith, they all need to come into their own. But I like their talent.
I mean, Vic has come out and said, he liked what he sees from his players. They're not where they are right now. We got a lot of young players. We have a new system. We're not going to be good for 6 or 7 games into the season. I just think this offense, I don't know how this offense doesn't outscore the teams they play, especially the first half of the season.
Yeah, just in general, there's a lot of talent on this team. But I think that the one thing that could hinder the Eagles this year, it's the one thing we've always talked about, and that's Nick Sirianni. There's a lot of eyes on Nick Sirianni. Some people even think that the seat's getting a little warm even before the season even starts. So if I'm looking at his Eagles regression this year, I have to look at Nick Sirianni. Has he lost the team? Which doesn't seem like he has yet.
No, I think I think they're going to have a really good year. I think Nick is exactly where he should be. I'm trying to skim through this article to see what he's worried about, but I mean,
Well, he brought up youth on defense.
Youth on defense.
He brought up some of the numbers from last year, but that was chronicled in the slide, right? I can argue that he's talking about a regression. Well, the actual regression happened during the season last year. So, yeah, maybe they weren't 10-1 last year.
Right.
They showed you they regressed during the year. Well, now it's a new team, right? It's a new season where I think they suffered their own regression within the year of last year. And now I don't see that. Like, I still look at them in Dallas. I go, how are the Eagles aren't the Eagles better than Dallas?
Yeah.
Like seriously. And I'm trying not to go, because they kill me all the time. Homer.
Yeah.
Right, you're a homer. Listen, the one thing I love more than anything is I love sports, right?
Right.
And I'm a geek. I watch everything. VG will tell you. I watch all these teams. I look at it objectively. I sit and go watch tape with Pinky Man, with Baldy. I mean, I can look at it objectively, and the Eagles are a better I like them more. I like Dallas.
Yeah, I just think that it's everyone just looking at that slide last year, because if you look at the talent team, you can't tell me this team is not going to be good. But I think everyone's just, again, going back and raising stock to that slide that they had last year. Why people are not so, maybe that's why people have a little cold feet on the Eagles going into this year.
So, here's his conclusion. I like most of the moves Roseman made during the offseason. I'm open-minded about the impact of the new coordinators we have on the coaching staff. I also know that trusting the best indicators of underlying performance often leads to the right answers about what a team will do in the upcoming season, and those don't look great for the Eagles.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't know. He's got a bunch of numbers and stuff in here. He's crunching
Like
from last
Like,
week.
give me a couple numbers off of that. Like,
Eagles. The Eagles' Pythagorean expectation was that of an 8.6 win team. The 2.4 win gaps, and
the Pythagorean expected win,
and they outscored their opposition by 0.3 points per
last
game.
year.
I know.
Like during the year, the regression happened.
Yeah.
So to me, I go. I want to talk to Barnwell. I'm going to try to get him.
Yeah, you should.
Like, one of the things is you got to look at it and go, that happened last year. They already regressed.
Right.
They regressed from 10-1.
Well, then he saw like Kelsey's departure, Fletcher Cox's departure. Stoutland's great, but can this new offensive line pull it together? I don't know. ESPN's FPI has them facing the 10th toughest schedule this season. And so, yeah, I don't know.
I feel it's just easy for him to put the Eagles in that list, to be honest with you, because of that regression.
Sounds like a lot of analytics here for me.
Well, that's his whole MO.
All right.
He's football. And look, I'll give him credit because he's pretty good at putting his finger on the pulse. I mean, he was 4-1. It was 4-0 last year on the teams that have regressed. He's got 5 now. Like, I look at the Giants. The Giants stink.
Yeah.
Like, are they regressing from what?
That's a good point. Like, what, 6-10 last year?
I mean, they made the playoffs, right?
I mean, they stink.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
They have ESPN's projected strength of Eagles' schedule, 6th easiest in the league, and he's got them as a possible decline.
Go look at the last 5 games. Pull it up, JP.
Of the Eagles?
Pull up the Eagles schedule.
I have it right here.
And look at the last 5 games of that schedule. Like, I even look at the schedule and I go, I don't see how Bill Barnwell has them the 10th hardest schedule.
Do you want this year or last year? I'm sorry.
This year.
So the last 5 games. So you got the Panthers, the Steelers, the Commanders, the Cowboys, and you end the season with the Giants.
Okay. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me?
I mean, those are winnable games.
You got one tough game, the Cowboys. Because I look at Pittsburgh, and I do agree with him. I just thought their quarterback play is terrible. Russell Wilson's cooked, right? So unless Fields, and do they have enough weapons on the outside? Like, I don't know that they have enough weapons on the outside. So I don't like the Steelers. I always like their defense. But what are they going to be like in January, right? At the end of December and January, they're going to be down.
I mean, to be honest with you, because this schedule in general, overall for the Eagles, doesn't look too daunting.
Go through it. Green Bay. All right, that's a tough game. In Brazil.
A home opener against Atlanta.
Right.
Week 2.
Atlanta's good team.
Going down to New Orleans.
Always tough to play on the road, and it's always tough to play in New Orleans.
Yes.
But they're not good.
Right.
Let's not get it twisted.
Right. And then following that, you have a rematch of the wild card round against Tampa. You'll be in Tampa.
Okay. I mean, is Baker Mayfield? No, like, I know he beat you in the wild card game, and Baldy likes him. But are you staying up late? Going, oh my God, the Buccaneers.
They're about, I would say they're maybe close to even, the 2 squads.
Like, I look at those teams, I look at those 2 games, I go, you probably split one.
Yeah.
Right? You could start off 1 and 2. Could I see them start off 1 and 2? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But then it starts to lighten up. Go ahead.
After the bye week, this is an intriguing matchup, Browns and Eagles at home.
Right.
Then you're going to go to New Jersey. Got Giants after that. Following that, you got the Bengals at home.
Right. You get Cincinnati, Cleveland at home, which is a big deal.
You got the Jags after that, Doug P. Followed by the Cowboys on November 10th. Commanders. Then you got the 2 tough ones, the LA Rams and then the Ravens. You'll be away for both those games.
Yeah.
You will be back home against Carolina, and this is the final 5 that we talked about. So overall, it's not a daunting schedule.
You can't win 11 games?
Yeah. I mean, I think they will. I don't know. He's got the Ravens declining, which with Derrick Henry at his team. But the basic theory is they won 13 games last year. They probably won't win 30. All right, so they
now,
get 12
does that mean the decline? Like, if you go from 13 to 11, that's a regression. But is that when you say decline and regression, you're thinking, 9 wins, right?
So maybe. So if the Eagles go 10-7, he's right because it would be a decline from last year.
Right. All right. Let's do a little Nugs, baby.
Before we get to Nugs, I got a little life situation involving skis here. I want to give advice maybe to our listeners.
What? They have better sneakers?
No, I got a picture of the sneakers so people can see it.
Dude, he wears the dirty sneakers, right?
Looks like he's been like traipsing through a pond in the Poconos
Yes.
with them for a couple of days.
Yes.
At least he
And then
changed the
just
laces.
changed the laces.
So our producer, look at those sneakers.
Come on.
It's
Yeah,
called
what does
fashion.
that
He wears
project?
them to work.
Yeah.
Hoosiers.
And the worst thing is he's got the bright white shoelaces
Yeah.
At least
with
change
the dirty
laces.
sneakers.
The laces broke, so I had to change them. The Chuck
You got
is a
soap
shoe.
and water at your house? It's a canvas shoe.
The
Dude, look at
Chuck
the
is a
socks,
shoe
dude.
that's okay to be
Bad
dirty.
sock game as well.
Dude, when I came in, he was playing a Papa Shot. He looked like he was from Hoosiers.
You
I
know what he
forget
looks
that
like?
kid's name.
Nobody
Chipwood.
will get the reference except you and I because we're old. Chuck from Happy Days.
You love him as Chuck from Happy Days.
Remember this one.
So let me ask you something. If you go out to eat, or no, if you're going to say you recommend a restaurant to someone, don't you think you have to have eaten there first before you recommend
Yes,
it?
of course.
So like if people have given me good words about it, I'll be like, hey, yo, so my buddies are telling me it's a good place. I haven't eaten there.
Fair enough.
I'll give you the heads up.
Fair enough. So after
Well, so what? You're going to go third party? You can't go third
you can
party.
say, you can say I've heard.
Okay.
I
I
think.
won't say
All
like
right.
I've tried.
Right.
You know, like,
So I like
rant
horror
about it.
movies. Skeeves like horror movies. After the show yesterday, he goes, I got 2 horror movies for you. I'm like, all right. He's like, Oddity. I was like, saw it in a movie. I was like, wow, I just saw this in a movie. Where'd you see that? It's streaming already? And he says, I didn't see it. My buddy told me it was good.
Violation.
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 I'm
So you can't. You got to
say my buddy said it's good.
No. You got to first. You got to lead with your buddy.
Yes.
When you say I got 2 movies for you,
Yes.
then you're thinking, yo, I saw.
Yeah, I want to connect with him on it. He's like, I didn't see it.
That's the level of trust I have in my buddy that I know it's going to be a good
But you got to
movie.
way you
lead with
project
the
it.
fact that your buddy's the guy.
Yes.
My bad on not
you didn't
leading
lead
with
with
that.
it.
But I did tell you.
You're trying to take credit because if VG never says, "Did you see it?" You're not coming clean.
Right.
You're going to stay as though you're a horror guru.
All right,
with your
red-handed,
dirty
you caught me.
sneakers.
Yeah.
You caught me.
A little odd.
Yeah, he's stealing the IP of his buddy.
Yeah, you're right.
Was it a good movie?
Give the citations,
It's a
Andrew.
great movie. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Little League World Series.
do
Yesterday, all right, so our squad is playing today at 3 o'clock. They play Hawaii. Hawaii's tough.
Hawaii's nasty, I know.
So that's going to be a tough one. That's a good game. Yesterday, I was riveted. Venezuela, Japan, 2 of the tougher teams in this World Series competition. Venezuela has not lost in 5 months. In the last 8 games, they outscored their opponents 97-0 in their
my
last
God.
8 games. These Japanese kids squeak one out 2-1.
Wow.
2-1. They win on a pass ball. Guy on third base scores on a pass ball. Amazing game.
Wow.
And the Japanese kids, they come out and they bow to the umpire before they go in the box.
Dude, they are so
And
respectful.
then after they strike out, they bow again and go back to the
Dude,
dugout.
you're the greatest.
They are.
That culture
Yes.
is a beautiful culture.
Yes.
It's all about respect for elders,
Yep.
respect for the game. Like
Yeah.
I told you, Charlie told you the story
Oh, yeah.
about Sadahara O. And in the 70s, the 1970s, Sadahara O was like apparently this legendary home run hitter from Japan, right? He was like the Babe Ruth of Japan. And Charlie tells the story. It's a great story about how he gets to the ballpark. He wakes up and they had a game that day. It was a day game. He wakes up and there's 4 inches of snow on the ground. You know, he goes back to bed. Next thing you know, there's a knock on the door. Yo, let's go to the ballpark. He's like, what do you mean? It's snowing out. We're not playing. He goes, no, we play here. He gets to the ballpark. He sees all these people shoveling the snow. And they're digging out a diamond. They're going to play ball. He sees Sadahara O. And Charlie's like, why are we playing, man? I want to go, you know, it's cold, man. I'm not playing in this. And O says, any day you could play baseball is a great day.
I love that.
And O hits a home run and gets 2 hits. And Charlie goes over. And Charlie says, you know, like he had the right attitude. And it's a great lesson. And the Japanese respect the game. They respect society.
Yeah.
I appreciate that culture.
Well, you see them after World Cup games, the fans in the stands literally clean up after themselves. They have the trash bags at the end of the row and everything.
It's a beautiful culture,
crazy.
man.
Yeah,
No,
that's awesome.
It's the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're throwing our beer cans on.
And K-Red is right. They could lighten up on the work culture. They put in long hours working over there.
Oh, really?
Other than that, So since 2015, someone compiled Warren Sharp at Sharp Football. The teams that have had how many games teams have gone with the 0 touchdowns, offensive touchdowns since 2015? The worst are the Jets. They've had 28 games
where they got shut out.
Where they haven't scored an offensive touchdown.
Wow.
The Eagles have the fewest, 3.
Wow.
Yeah. They have the fewest since what? 9 years? It's 9 years we're working
that
here?
That makes sense when you think about it. I can't even remember. Can you recall
a game where they just had 3 points?
Yeah.
Or just a defensive touchdown?
That Matt Barkley game was that 2015 when he had to come in the second half against the Giants. That was one of the worst offensive games I ever watched.
Matt Barkley. Yeah.
Dallas, middle of the pack, 13. They're actually, there's only like 6 teams worse than Dallas.
A couple Dak injuries.
That's a good sign.
And they're junk. The Bears, the Rams, Jacksonville, Giants, and Panthers. Derek Carr could make history this season.
Oh, man.
If he throws for 3,000 yards. If he throws for 3,000 yards, he's going to be the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to start his first 11 seasons with 3,000 yards. There's only 2 others. Want to give it a shot?
Wait a second.
He threw. If he's gone his first 10 seasons for throwing for 3,000 yards. If he does the 11th season, there's only 2 other quarterbacks in NFL history who've done
I already
this.
saw him, so I can't say.
So that have done this.
Yeah.
What's it like? Brady Manning?
It's Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And one other one.
It's not Brady?
Nope.
He had a season where he didn't throw 3,000 yards?
Well, he had the injury.
Well, his first season, he might not have played as much. Yeah. He's a Big Ten quarterback, Super Bowl winner.
Is he Big Ten?
Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson.
Oh my God! Oh my
He's
God!
the only other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was thinking Russ too.
Yeah.
Wow.
ACC.
That's what I was going to say. I mean,
he
I think of it
Wisconsin?
more. Yeah,
Went
but he
to
played
NC
1 year
went to
at
NC State,
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Then he went to Wisconsin. He transferred to Wisconsin.
Oh,
So it all depends on how you think of him. But he went to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Played ridiculous in the Rose Bowl
I remember that game.
with Wisconsin. So he what?
Wisconsin.
He transferred to Wisconsin.
NFL Sunday Ticket is available in the Apple App Store for the low price of $679.99.
$679.
If you want to throw in the red zone, it'll only cost you $739.99.
for the year.
Dude,
That's
Now,
outrageous.
For 4 months.
Now I will say this.
4
though.
months.
Yeah.
If you have a group of friends,
Yes.
that's a good point.
and you're 4 guys, and every Sunday you're going to get together, everybody throws in a deuce, and you got supreme entertainment for the year.
That's true. To add on to VG's Nug here, so ML Football put out what NFL fans could be spending this year to watch every single game, and it could be worth up to $1,300 with all the subscriptions you have to subscribe to, which
Like
is
what?
insane.
Like what else
So
is
the
there?
local games, he put $74.99 a month, ESPN Plus $10.99 a month, Peacock $5.99 a month,
Amazon, right?
Amazon $8.99 a
Right,
month,
right,
Netflix
right,
$6.99 a
right.
month, and then obviously what VG just said,
Oh,
that would
right,
all
right.
equal to $1,300.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but I will say this. we love the thing, so
Well, the fans at fault because we'll pay it,
Yeah.
and that's why they know they can do it.
Can you even get a
It's
studio?
our fault.
$1,300 for 4 months in today's world.
That feels like a lot.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
One sport?
Yeah.
It is a lot of money. But let me throw this at you. How much entertainment? Let's think about this for a second.
Okay.
What is your entertainment dollar? Going out. All right? How much you spend on a night out? Go ahead.
On a night out?
Yeah, well, Mr. Pub. At
On
least,
my own, $150.
Yeah, I was going to say 200.
Depends on where I'm going.
yeah, $150, right?
I mean, it depends. I go to Hop Sing, at least $150.
well, that's what I'm saying.
If I go
you're
to a
talking-
local pub, $80.
all right, well,
if
just
I'm there
split
for a
the
while.
difference. Say it's 100.
All right, 100.
All right? Like, imagine 13 times in 4 months. You go out more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting your entertainment's worth.
Yeah, but then that's all in though. But now I got to buy food. I got to buy some cheese, some charcuterie, some beers.
Yeah, you need the supply.
It's all about buying
with the
cheese.
Yeah,
charcuterie board.
You need the home
go
beer.
see Emilio, get a nice Piave. You know, got to get the board together. I'll sit there to
So
sit my board.
you do that?
I love a Sunday
Munster.
cheese board with some fruits. And,
Sounds good.
My
Yeah,
wife
man,
would
load
love to
it.
watch
Like
football.
mustard.
I'll find some pictures of it. I got
So you watch a game. You'll sit there with a game
with his wine and
with
his
your
cheese.
with
with
your
my
cheese
notepad,
board.
my
So,
cheese board, and a
Oh, I have
beer.
my notepad,
and a beer.
too.
Yeah.
There's toothpicks on the cheese.
Nah, sure. I got little. My board comes with those little knives,
Dude, you
little
are
knives and those little
fancy.
forks.
What
You're
cheese do you go
bougie,
to?
dude.
What cheese is
He
your
is
go-to
bougie.
You're
cheese?
bougie.
No, Vinci's a bouge.
Do you go with the cabot?
I'm a nice cabot. Come on, you got to go to a real cheesemonger. You get a Piave, you get a cave-aged Gruyere, maybe some
like
Gouda. I don't know, that good cheddar.
Wegmans has good cheese.
Oh, it's
cheese
under
section?
construction right now.
Wegmans has good cheese.
They got a good brie, Gouda.
Well, you get Emilio in
Cause
here.
it's like, give me
talking
the
about cheese.
burrata, give me the
Mozzarella.
mozzarella.
No. It's not about the Italian. I like cheese from all over the world, but I'm not.
Football.
I don't watch the game. Like
You don't like you don't like pickies while you're watching the game? You're
No.
the picky man.
I am a picky man, but not during the game. I don't know. I don't really, unless it's for somebody else, like the kids and all. If it's just me, I got a bottle of water.
No,
Pizza?
we're primo hoagies guys for football games. Come on,
Yeah,
now.
Primo Hoagie. I mean, it's
Yeah,
an
whatever.
event. It's an event, no?
But, no, but again, if it's just me, like sometimes, listen, the kids, I got to bribe the kids to actually watch
That's crazy.
the game. They play it, but they don't love to watch it.
That's so funny.
Which I'm like, dude, you got to watch that. I tell both of them, watch the game, because when you watch the game, you pick up stuff. You just learn. It's just osmosis, and you pick up nuance.
So because growing up, I would bother my dad. Dad, let's just watch the Eagles for 3 hours and we'll do whatever you want. I used to have to bother my dad with that one. It's
No,
funny.
but you
So you get this excited and jacked up just to sit down with a bottle of water and a notepad? That's the big event?
It doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, there's no prep.
Football's the
Get the
event.
food together.
I do
put
like
a
the
little.
watch the
barbecue.
game.
The birds is the event.
Yeah, but you need like a good.
Yeah.
I do barbecue, like a brisket,
you gotta have
like
something
great,
going
yeah.
on.
pork, you know,
Especially
something
when you're
nice,
people.
wings.
Yeah,
If it's
you know how
there-
much you know how much he would love football if he actually did that?
No,
Ah, man, it's
listen,
always
there's
mine.
Wings on the
Listen.
smoker.
Messy fingers and football.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. Now you're going overboard.
Right.
Messy fingers.
Not even a gin or a beer, a water.
I'm looking to
Oh,
get
man,
whacked.
this is so boring.
I'm going to watch.
Don't invite me over for a game. It
Yeah,
sounds like
right?
a snooze
Same.
fest.
Here's your water. Here's
Yeah.
your water.
Where's the water? Let's pay attention.
No, I like. I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking to get wasted watching football. I'm going to watch football.
That's why I can't
You
watch
only get
my.
one bottle.
Here we go. You're either wasted or you having water. You can't
No,
have,
but like Sunday
you
afternoon,
can't have a beer a half
Dude,
or a beer
dude,
quarter.
listen, if it's there, I'll go get it. Like I'm not going to decline the beer. Like if it's around, if I feel like it, I'll get a beer. But a lot of times on a Sunday afternoon, I don't really feel like it.
Oh, man. Half the fun is like planning out the food and
No, I don't do anything.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I love
Definitely
that.
do that.
Food I'm in, definitely out.
I'll go
whacked.
like the best I get is like if I go over to my cousin Joey's, right?
Okay.
He might make like a cheesesteak or a pizza. Like he makes good
All
cheesesteak.
right. Yeah,
there you
yeah.
I might make a pizza.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
But that's the prime time. But that's also the prime time game.
For sure.
And I won't eat
more
until we
special.
go there. Right? Like
A hypothetical man says, Cuz passes out notebooks so everyone can chart plays.
Yeah.
I know, I'm a loser, man. That's terrible.
No, I
I
love
don't even
it.
mean like it. I'm just saying, I just like want to watch the game. Like I don't all the
Like you
the
can't watch
PR
the game while you're dipping some pita in some hummus or something.
Oh, that sounds great.
Cuz let me ask you. So
You
let's
love
say,
your hummus too.
let's say it's like since
I don't eat my pita as I watch the game. Get the bleep out of here. Oh my God. God forbid I will get the pita while I watch the game.
No,
Pita's a good item. Come on now.
Brisket. Raw.
Yeah, raw brisket.
God forbid pita. Do I buy all the pita? Hold on. I got to get the pita bread.
you're so bougie, man. Cuz what if it's
I
like
eat my hummus.
Pita's bougie. Been around for thousands of years in the Middle East. Pita's
I
bougie.
eat my hummus.
Yeah, you run over to get a good. They got some good hummus locally.
No, typical, like for football fans, typical is like the tortilla chips and the buffalo dip. Like that's the hummus and pita for you.
Just get a bag of hers, call it a day.
I like a bag of hers.
Peanuts and pretzels.
Salt and pepper hers. Man, oh man.
Hers are
Just
great.
trying to have some fun with this game, this gridiron game.
Hot
Well,
wings.
what else you got? Give me another nug. Mr.
I got a real
I need
bone
my
to pick with
cheese board.
someone who ranked the rudest cities. Philly came in 10th. We should be way higher than this.
Yeah, we should be higher.
I don't like 10th on this, especially because the top three. No, here you go. I got them ranked. New York City,
Oh yeah.
Washington,
Really?
Chicago, L.A., Buffalo, San Fran, Boston, Baltimore, Detroit, Philly.
Who made this list?
The only ones I'm happy, they surveyed people who travel and
San
stuff.
Fran.
The only two people who should beat us are Boston and New York. The three of us should be fighting for the rudest cities.
I'm more shocked with DC. DC number
DC?
2.
I'll be honest with you.
Buffalo?
So, first of all, Chicago's, their people are nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Midwest nice.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
DC's not even a city.
It's a bunch of
district.
transplants.
Yeah.
How are they rude?
Agreed. I will say this. I found, I know a lot of people that will come in and cover games and stuff,
Right.
friends that I used to work with. They love Philadelphia. They think Philadelphia people are nice. Like they ask for, hey man, where should I get something to eat? Like people stop and talk.
Yeah, I know, but
So that's not rude.
I just want to be rude. I want the reputation of being rude.
We
at
just
least.
bust stones, but people might take that as being rude.
Well, you like the fact that you want to be rude, but then people are pleasantly surprised that
That's
we're not.
nice. Yeah.
All right.
San Fran's higher than us too.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
San Fran is weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird city.
Yeah,
Talk about expensive.
Oh, yeah.
What time is it? We got one. All right. So they surveyed women about men and hobbies and which hobbies are the most attractive and least attractive. So if they hear, if you put on your dating
Wow.
site that you do any of this,
So stamp collecting would be not attractive.
Sports,
the
definitely
least
not.
attractive,
Really?
playing video games.
Yeah.
Women are out on
Yeah,
these
because
gamer
they
dudes.
go, all right, like, because it's done in an excessive
Yes.
nature. That's why. If you did it like once in a while, they wouldn't care.
I don't know. My girlfriend loves it because she gets her like alone time when I go play video games.
You could trust a guy who plays video games.
There are
What
some.
you doing in her alone time, Gus?
Watch it like Love is Blind.
Reunion was great last night. Oh no, that was Love Island. Reunion was great. The second most least unattractive male hobby, collecting figurines.
I mean,
Yes.
3, magic tricks.
Yes. Nobody wants to. You know what's bad is the guy who thinks he's a magician.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
pick
Like,
a card,
it's,
any card.
It's the same. It's the same guy who he's not funny and tells jokes.
It's like Arrested
Like
Development.
not another, right? Have you ever heard me tell you a joke?
No.
No, and I never
No,
will.
and you've told me you're not funny.
I'm not funny. Therefore, I'll never tell anybody a joke because I know I'm not funny.
So, let's roll through these. Online trolling, fair enough. No one wants to be.
yeah, that should be number
Gambling.
No,
one.
that's just an a-hole. That's
Gambling.
a hobby.
You're not going to
Oh,
find
yeah.
any men if you're against gambling.
Come on, we've seen Brad's wife.
Building model trains, agreed.
That
Taxidermy,
is,
a little
Taxi-
creepy.
that's a little.
Taxidermy's a hobby.
How is that lower than
That's that
video
movie.
games?
The worst
how is video
freaking
games-
movie. I wanted to gouge my eyeballs out
What?
with a fork. That movie where Steve Carell is a taxidermist.
Oh,
Dinner for the Schmucks. Or something.
Oh, the worst. I
He's doing the
freaking
mice.
hated that movie with a passion. Oh my God, it was awful.
Comic book collecting and bird watching.
really?
Oh, they get something against the bird?
Yeah, man, a lot. But how
Video game's a little too high.
taxidermy is
Yeah.
less attractive than video game playing is bizarre to me.
Where's the card collect baseball cards?
They don't
Vince.
have. That's not in the top. What is this? The top 10?
Yeah, sports really weren't in there. Unless you
Yeah.
consider video
Gambling.
games. Gambling too.
Gambling and
So we're safe, guys.
video games.
K Red.
Card
Taxidermy
collecting's good.
screams psychopath to me.
Yeah, you're like who does that for a hobby?
Jeffrey Dahmer did that.
Yeah, well, no,
Exactly.
right. That's crazy.
So if any of those are your hobbies, people out there, do not put it in your dating profile. You will not get swiped.
At least
right
two
on.
of them are.
What's your
figurine
attached to them?
collecting and video games.
Oh, the figurine.
No, I know they're a figurine. Come on.
Yeah, figurine.
You know
You
my
got He-Man
stance
in your bedroom?
You know my stance on the figurine.
Comic books?
No, I mean I like comics. They're cool, but I don't collect them.
Are you an online troller?
It's all right.
The magic tricks. You can.
You don't like trolls? A hobby? Who does that as a hobby?
Because these people are a little bit too
No,
much on the
I just
internet.
think you're an a-hole.
We got the guys who come in
jerk
our room
off.
every day, our chat room every day. It feels like trolling us.
Yeah, you're just a jerk off. Like, to do that. Like, you imagine you got no pride. Because you wouldn't come and say it to anybody's face.
That's true. That is true. You're spot on, cuz.
Whatever. Anyway, that's going to do it for us, man.
Oh, man. What a great show, guys.
A lot of fun. As always, thank you guys for hanging. We love you guys. We appreciate it. Have a great night. Go Phils. Big game. We'll talk about it in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.